Questions for Timo?
I'll
We'll
start
start.
off if that's okay. It's Jeff Hawkins from Charlotte Post. How you doing, Taylor?
Doing well, sir. Yourself?
Hey, good. I was just wondering, how familiar are you with Rasheed Walker's game, and I don't know, how has your early interactions been with your possible bookend?
Um, Initial interactions have been wonderful. He seems like a great guy. Excited to work with him this upcoming season. So I'm really excited about getting out there on the field and getting to work with him and just continue to get better. And we're gonna help each other out, feeding off each other, all that good stuff. So.
Have you ever had? Did you know him before? Have you ever worked with him or been in any camps with him before or anything like that?
No camps or anything like that. Obviously, I've known of him. Saw a little bit of film last year. So, but ultimately, this is really our first time getting to know each other. But it's been great so far, and excited about the future. So.
And are you ready to start mentoring the rookie?
Yeah, I'm excited to meet him. Excited for him to get in the building. Heard tremendous things about him. So yeah, I'm excited about him and what he can bring to the room. So.
Hey, thanks. Good luck this year.
Thank you.
Mike K, followed by Mike Solarte.
Hey Taylor, how you doing?
Hey, doing well. Good to see you.
Yeah, great to see you. What is your approach to mentorship? You've kind of had the opportunity to mentor quite a few guys. What do you do when guys first come in? What is your overarching philosophy on mentoring? What's your process?
Well, I'll go back to when I was a rookie. The thing that helped me out the most was just sitting back and observing how the older guys worked, right? So I had All-Pro Darrell Williams ahead of me, and I just wanted to see how he attacked the film, how he attacked practice, all the extra things he did after, all his attention to detail. So, the biggest thing is just doing things the right way and, hoping they're paying attention to that and letting them know, if you have any questions or any concerns or asking about how you do this or that, I'm always here for you. I'm always here to support, help you, get to where you want to get to. And whatever you can do to help this team, I want to be there for you. So, and ultimately, if I see something where I think I can help, I go along with that. But, ultimately, I think it just starts with taking care of your own business and doing things the right way. And, so that way you just show how, like people showed me how things are supposed to be done. I feel like that's what I work to do for the younger guys as well.
I mean, entering year 10, you've worked with a lot of different coaches, but the fact that this entire coaching staff is being retained on offense through year 3, how much does that benefit you and your playing style, but also you're working with Robert to your left?
Yeah, it's been wonderful. I love the coaching staff. I think they do a tremendous job. Working with Joe and Goody every day, it's been awesome, and we can just continue to take those next steps. There's no having to start from the beginning and having to, reteach everything from the ground up. Like we just continue to build on what we had last year, right? And then the year before that. So we can just continue to take those steps and continue to fine tune. And same thing with playing next to Rob, so tremendous guard, and excited to be playing next to him this year as well.
Thank you.
Hey, Timo. Mike Solarte here at Spectrum News 1. Good to see you, bud.
Good to see you too, Mike.
It's kind of going off of the coaching line that Mike just brought up. The change in play caller for this year with Brad Izik getting the play calling duties. How much do you think that is going to have an impact on what you guys do? Because basically it seems like since Brad and Coach Canales got here, they've really been essentially kind of joined at the hip with how they've kind of built and constructed the offense.
Well, to me, that's all above me. I have the full faith in whoever is calling the plays or however it shakes out right. At the end of the day, Bryce comes in, tells us what the play is, and I just execute that play the best of my ability to give our offense the best chance, right? And that to me is on, that will never change. So ultimately, I'm just listening to what the quarterback's play is, and if it's protecting the quarterback, it's that. If it's open the hole for running back, it's that, or whatever it is, and however it shakes, I was calling it. That's not my jurisdiction, right? Mine is doing my job as an offensive lineman. So.
And then it was last summer at camp where you talked about your desire to want to stay and be a Panther, and it got emotional. And then you guys go off and you win the division and you make the playoffs. Is this kind of, are you feel like you're as a group approaching the spot you envisioned and wanted to be with this organization now as a group, not just yourself, but as you guys are making that climb?
Well, winning games is always fun, right? But, I work to have that what's next mentality. So we're looking into this 2026 season and continue to build on what we did last year. And that's, right, continue to win more and more games, seeing what I can do to help this offense put up more points, to put us in a better position to win more and more often. So that's what I'm looking forward to, the 2026 season. And I'm excited, and it's an honor to put the jersey on for another year. So I'm excited about it.
And that last answer should allay the concerns of the comments under the Panthers X page where they were carrying this live, people saying, please don't retire, talking about you. So, Mike said you're entering year 10 for you. Are you seeing the runway, or are you still?
Retirement's out of my mind right now, right? Ultimately, I feel great running around with all the guys, the young guys, right? Whatever it is. But I'm feeling young. I'm feeling like I'm moving well. And, I'm feeling like right now I'm still in my prime, right? I don't feel like I'm slowing down. So ultimately, every year I come in, I work to have my best season yet, and that's not changing going into year 10. So.
Thanks. See you, Timo.
Darren Gant, followed by Joe Person.
Timo, talking about that mentoring a rookie, you've had the opportunity to do this twice now. I mean, you had Icky 4 years ago when he came in. Is it different from the perspective of a 26, 27-year-old Taylor Moton compared to a 31-year-old Taylor Moton?
I mean, there's things where I feel like you grow in different aspects, especially being a leader, what works, what reciprocates, what doesn't, things like that. I might not go into quite the details of it and all the stories I have, but ultimately that's part of the growth along with being a player, is being a better leader, finding ways to work to help get guys to where they want to go and get the best out of them, and where I fall in that role, the best way I can help. So that's always, that's a continuing process, and that's just like a lot of other things. I feel like I'll never get there, but I'm always striving for that, for being the best I can for myself and for whoever's coming up and maybe watching how I'm doing things. So
you can feel free to go into the stories. That's okay.
Maybe next time.
The other thing I was curious about is what it's been like for you watching from where you guys were in January when Icky gets injured, and it's kind of an uncertain situation for the line as a whole with his situation. And now all of a sudden there is a Rashid and there is a Monroe in that room. What's it like going into the season knowing you've got multiple options at that position?
Yeah, I fall back to whoever goes out there, wherever the situation is. I know I have the utmost faith in the situation, and I'm here to help however I can. And we all have the same mission, right? And that's just going out there 1-0 and winning the game. So, ultimately I'm here for all the guys in the room. Whoever I can help, however I can help, I'm there for them, along with trying to be the best I can, right? And continue to play my best football along the way. So, ultimately, however it shakes out, I'm happy to be in the room, happy to help, and do what I can.
Hey, Timo.
Hey, good to see you, Joe.
Hope it's been a good off season. You done anything fun?
Oh, took a couple trips here and there, but for the most part, just hung around, dad life, same old with that, training, just trying to, staying healthy, getting back in shape, all the normal stuff. So
Nice. Hey, I wanted to ask you, did Dan or Dave kind of give you a heads up that they might be taking a tackle and pick your brain or anything like that?
I was out, what they do and we do is separate, like I have like I said before, the most faith in those guys upstairs and Dan Morgan and them, that they're going to do what's best for the team. And, ultimately I play my role, and that's helping us be the best offensive line we can be come Sunday, and the whole process of that, right? So ultimately that's where I fit into that, is helping us do what we can to win games. So
Sounds like you did not get a chance to meet Monroe yet, correct?
No, not yet. The rookies aren't in.
Yeah. And did you have a chance to look at any film or no?
No, but I'm excited to meet him. I'm excited to get to know him. I've heard great things, so I'm excited about the future and the guys coming in and the guys already in the room.
And Darren referenced Icky. How's he doing? What have your interactions been with him this offseason?
You know, I love Icky to death. I can't speak on the timeline. You got to talk to him about that. But you know, he's a guy that works day in and day out, and that's just the kind of guy he is. But you know, where he's at, I can't speak on that. So I can only speak.
No,
on
I wasn't asking. I wasn't asking about the timeline. I just
Oh.
wonder how he's doing. You know, from mindset wise as he goes through this.
He's a good. Icky's a great guy, and I know he's always got the headspace he needs to be to be the best he can. Just like that's where he's been. You know, he's been the guy that I have to be working with every day. You know, I love him to death, so I'm always here for him.
Thanks, Timo.
Yeah, no doubt.
Our last two questions will be from Cass, followed by Steve Reed.
Hey, Timo, how's it going?
Good to see you.
You too. Canales talked about his sort of his mission for Bryce this offseason was to tighten up that window between breaking the huddle and the snapping the ball. Like, from your experience, how long does it take a quarterback to kind of master that window? And what can you do to help him during that time with all that pre-snap stuff?
Yeah, I don't know the window time, but I do understand that a lot of that tempo can help with starting up front, getting in and out the huddle, and we all preach about a sense of urgency. So I that's one big thing this off season, going into season. I want to help just try to do my part in the sense of urgency, making sure we're moving crisp, we're moving how fast we need to move, and still be concise and what have you. So working to play my part in that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Timo, Steve Reed from the AP. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. I want to follow up on Mike's question. I mean, you talked about being in your prime, and last summer, you talked, I think, about being rejuvenated and feeling like, you just, had a bright, long future ahead of you. But do you ever think about how long you want to play? I mean, 40, 45? What do you want?
Might not be 45, but, I signed a 2-year extension, and that was where my mind was at, was just playing. Because for me, it's always been just like I said, what's next earlier, and that's going into next year and feeling at my best, right? So when I'm thinking about just next year, I'm not thinking about retirement, and then it goes in the year after that. I'm still feeling great, and then we go from there. So, ultimately, the number in my head, not sure, but I do know that I'm excited about this season. And, right now I'm sitting here, I'm feeling great. I don't feel like I need to retire. So I don't feel I need to retire anytime soon. Feeling good.
And one last question. Over the years that you've been in the league, what has changed the most in terms of maybe how things are officiated on the line? Has anything changed over the last are they calling different things differently in your mind?
There's been points of emphasis, that have changed over the years. The big thing I would say is us breaking the line of scrimmage, like where we have to line up our helmets to the center's waistline so we're not too far back. That's probably the biggest thing. So they weren't officiating it that tight when I first got in the league, but that's become a point of emphasis the past few years. That's the big thing. And then they go back and forth over if they're going to emphasize holds or if they're going to emphasize what a hold is, things like that. So there's the ebbs and flows of it, but it's, the refs come in every year and they tell us, okay, so we're locking down more on this. So you make sure we're more apt to pay attention and tweak the game with your hands or your feet or your alignment, whatever it is, to make sure that, the last thing I want to do is be that guy, be a problem. So, try to play clean football and I feel like that's huge for helping us, win games and stay efficient.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Timo, that's all the questions we have for you today. Thanks for taking the time.
Appreciate it.
The time to talk to us.
No worries, appreciate it.
All right, we'll kick things off with Cass.
Sorry, I had music playing somewhere. I was trying to get rid of. Hi, Chuba. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good.
That's good.
Sorry, what am I thinking of? Polishing that time between the huddle and the snap and kind of getting that time down and making sure it's being most effective. What are some of the ways that you can kind of help with that? How is that sort of an offensive task overall beyond just Bryce?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously Bryce is the quarterback. He leads the charge, but it's all our jobs to make sure this thing runs smoothly. I think a big thing that we stress is just urgency. We've been saying that all offseason. So a big thing is like Bryce obviously gonna lead the charge, but it's my job to be there to make sure we're getting in and out. The receivers making sure they're getting set, just making sure that huddle and the on and off the field kind of transition is just smooth, so we can attack. And like I said, we're urgent, focusing on attack, and as long as we can kind of always be in that mindset, kind of that's what we're after.
And then one other thing, now that John Mechie is here, I think y'all have the highest concentration of John Cornish Trophy winners in one locker room. Do y'all get to form a coalition, gang up on Chef Tracy for more poutine?
Yeah, we might have to get some poutines in there and some other stuff. But no, Mechie, he's a dog. Once I saw we signed him, I was excited. I was telling him, like, I probably known about him since I was like 16 years old. When you're in Canada, there's only so many. There's a lot more now, but when I was coming up, there's only so many, football players making it that far. So I knew about him as well as a bunch of other guys. So to be able to be on the same team and like kind of like share memories about each other that we knew of but didn't actually know each other. It's cool.
Was this the first time y'all have met in person? Was this off season?
First time in person. So like I've known who he was and what he's done and all these different things and heard great things, but now to meet him has been dope. Like we just went to dinner yesterday and I was like, damn, bro, finally got a Canadian that understand the stuff I be going through. So yeah, it's cool.
What is some of the stuff he understands?
I mean, I'm not gonna get into some of the stuff, but
Okay.
just Canadian slang, going back home, the feelings, and just stuff like that.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sheena Quick, followed by Mike K.
Hi, Chuba.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
We've seen some coverage and footage of you and Jonathon Brooks working out. You know, you most recently attended his baptism on Sunday. Can you talk to us a little bit about how that relationship has deepened, particularly this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, ever since JB came in, a big thing I told myself was I want to be not just a great teammate, but also a great friend to him. I see all the potential in him. He's a one-on-one player, also a one-on-one just person. And I just saw what he had in him and the potential. And for me, as a leader, as a competitor, obviously I'm chasing greatness myself, but I want to see the people around me be great as well. So I told JB, like, just stick with me. We'll work together, and you're gonna be well off. And he's worked hard this off season and even this past season. So I've said it before, the sky's the limit, and I'm excited for him. He's going to keep working, and there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. That's life, but he's trending in the right direction, so I'm happy for him.
Thanks, Chuba.
Mm-hmm.
Chuba, with that said, I mean, you've kind of seen it all in your career here, the ups, the downs, and everything like that, but typically you've kept a pretty level head. How has Jonathon kind of handled those ups and downs as both a friend and as a competitor?
Yeah, I mean, I can only say from how I've seen it from my perspective. I'm sure there's a lot of highs and lows that he's dealt with on his own that I'm not quite sure of, but I think it's exactly what you said, just keeping a level head and, you know, just staying close to God. Obviously, like you guys just said, he just got baptized, and he's been building in his faith, building in his relationship with God, which I think is amazing. And in doing that, I think it also just kind of creates a resiliency in your mind and where you're going there. So he's very mature for his age, and in terms of those things, he's right where he needs to be.
You guys didn't draft a running back. You brought in AJ, but it seems like you're going to have a lot of continuity in that room. Obviously, Rico leaving, but for the most part, you've got two guys that are coming back from the practice squad. I know you're the only one, like you guys go out there one at a time, but how does that build the chemistry of the room when you have that type of continuity?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it to you guys every year. I've been fortunate enough to have great rooms every single year I've been in Carolina, from not just, like I said, great teammates, but also people. And the one thing is, like, we got a couple of young guys that are real fast, explosive. We got, you know, AJ in there now, OG, that, you know, has that level of the game that can kind of help you with that side of things. So we can all help each other in some way or the other. And a big thing I told them, and we've all kind of echoed to each other, is like, I get that the running back room can be what it is, one guy on the field, but I always think everyone could be successful. We can all have a slice of cake. So that's my mentality.
Sorry, technical difficulties, but we'll go with Jeff Hawkins, followed by Joe Burton.
Hey, greetings, Chuba. How's your off season going?
It's doing well, thank you. How about you?
Oh, good, thanks. I don't have an off season, but it's all right.
I was about to say I don't think you're in off season, but
no.
we'll treat it as that.
Hey, as a featured back, what are your thoughts on the new look offensive line, and have you reached out to the new guys yet?
Yeah, obviously, I feel like we've had a great offensive line since I've been here. Obviously, last year a lot of injuries and stuff like that, but you know, all the guys we've added in free agency, and then obviously with the draft and everything, I mean, I'm foaming at the mouth. That's something obviously a running back loves to see, and we got dogs up front. We've always had that. Obviously, have the great coaches there to get those guys right and too. So I'm excited. It's pretty simple. I'm really excited.
Thanks and good luck.
Thank you.
Hey, Chuba, good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
Canales said that from everything he's seen and heard, that Jonathan has looked really good. I know you've been working out with him. What just your assessment on how he's doing physically?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's in a really good spot, a great spot, if that. Like I said, I think throughout this process, there's going to be highs and lows. But throughout this whole off season, I think he just progressed in the right direction in like a substantial amount. So just to see him build his confidence, kind of get back to himself on the field and getting closer to who he knows he could be and even surpass that, it's been cool to just be a part of, push him, and then have him push me too. So, yeah, I'm excited for him.
Also, wondered what you and the other team leaders are doing this offseason and into OTAs to kind of keep building on what y'all have established here, certainly making the playoffs last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is what we've harped on is just, continue to build that chemistry between each other. I think a team that's banded tightly together is unbreakable. So I think that's what we're just going to continue to build in the workouts, on and off the field, and everything we do. And I'm not going to just get into the details of what we're doing to spend time with each other and stuff like that, but that is definitely a big focus for us. I'll say that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike Solarte, followed by Steve Reed.
Thanks, Kia. Hey, Chuba. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
The last season, there were times that Rico said he lobbied for plays to be called because he saw something, that he wanted to try to exploit and make gains. With Rico now gone, do you kind of assume that role as the vocal guy to pitch ideas at Brad Idzik, who's going to be your new play caller, and maybe how did that dynamic maybe change between Idzik and Coach Canales?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're very fortunate enough to have a staff that allows us to be able to communicate how we feel and actually then receive it. So I think we're blessed to have that, and vice versa. I think that all comes with player-coach's relationship. And when you have a relationship like that where a coach can tell you something or you can tell a coach something and you believe in each other and it's all from one unit, I think that's great. So, yeah.
Do you think there'll be much of a change with Brad calling the plays now as opposed to Coach Canales? I know you worked with him a little bit, having him do that in the preseason, but preseason isn't as very involved for you being one of the starters.
Yeah, I mean, I think Brad and Dave obviously have similar mindsets and schemes and stuff, obviously. So they're both great minds, and I trust the coaching. I know they'll obviously spitball back and forth off each other. So a big thing for me is like I'm here to play ball and lead this team, and whatever they call, I'm gonna make the most out of it. So I'm trusting the coaches and what they have in front of us, and I'll leave it at that.
And my last one, the cap you're wearing. Where do the Fighting Chuba Hubbards play with that personalized cap you're wearing today?
You said the Fighting Chuba Hubbards.
Yeah, on your hat, the CH on your hat.
Oh, Chrome Hearts, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know there was.
I'll go with Flying Chuba Hubbards. That's cool.
Thanks, Chuba.
Yeah.
Chuba, Steve Reed from the AP. Mike stole my question, not the one about the hat, but about the offense. But anyway, do you notice? Is there a different mentality that you notice just being around guys after what you guys accomplished last season, and just an eagerness to build on what you did last season with reaching the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was definitely good to change the narrative in Carolina last year. I think everyone in the city and in the state can agree on that. But I think also from another viewpoint is like we also see how far we could have went and how close we were. So obviously it was a blessing to win a bunch of games. Obviously lost some too, but to get in the playoffs and finally get that done. But I think we just see how far we can actually go. Like we're just scratching the surface now. So there's not going to be any time for no dips or leaning off the gas or anything. We're going to keep the foot on the gas and keep pressing and get to where we want to go. And 2026, the sky's the limit for the Carolina Panthers. So I'm excited. Everyone's itching to get back on the field. It's been a good offseason.
Our last two questions will be with Darren Gant, followed by Deshaun Brown.
Chuba, you were talking about the offensive line a second ago. How would you describe the way Taylor Moton works and leads that group?
I'd say just first off, like Timo is like a one-of-one player, like the ultimate professional, does everything the right way, practices hard. He's getting up there at age. I know his body's hurting sometimes, but fights through that, fights through adversity, leads the guys the right way, takes young guys in if they need. Just when I could just say the epitome of like a professional or the ultimate vet, he's that. So I think having a guy like that on your offensive line is big because I always like to say like the trenches are the identity of the team. So having a guy like that can lead and also play at a high level is great. And he's done it year in, year out. So I'm thankful to have Timo for sure.
Yeah. Can you guys tell, what's that like when you see him pushing through things the way he has the last couple of years?
I'll just say, what year was it? Maybe like 2023. I don't want to go too far back, but I just remember a game seeing him. He had like 2 huge ice packs. Like, he was like obviously emotional and going through it. And I'm just thinking like maybe he's done for the game. I don't want to like bother him too much, but he just go right back out there and act like nothing's happened. Of course, come back, he's in pain, but like seeing somebody that consistently will just put their body on the line for their teammates, for their organization, and also themselves, that's what you want in a teammate. That's exactly what you want in a teammate. So, if we had 1,000 Timos, I'd say we'd be in a good spot. But yeah, shout out to Timo. We're thankful for him.
Hey, Chuba, thanks for taking the time to do this.
No worries.
You touched on, just as a team, guys collectively seeing how far you could have gone. I'm just curious, with more years and experience, what was your approach to the offseason? And if anything, how has that changed?
My approach is the same. Win everything. Win the workouts, win the sprinting, win the meetings, win the recovery. I just want everything I do to be about winning. I want everything we do in this building to be about winning. So then when it comes time for that in season on Sundays, that's all we're focused on. And that's what guys are chasing. So, yeah, I've said it like 5 times, but I'm excited.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Chuba, that's all the questions we have for you this afternoon. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you, guys.
for taking the time to talk to us.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we'll kick things off with Mike K, followed by Sheena Click.
Hey, Jonathan, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Have you been fully cleared for the rest of the off-season program, or are you singly just doing like the early stuff in the process of the program?
Yes, sir. I've been cleared by my surgeon. Denny and the training staff and the coaches have a plan for me, and just going off of what they tell me to do, and just taking it how it is. Just getting better every day still. Yeah, I am cleared though.
We'd be at a practice in like late December, early January, and you were running pretty quickly. Like, how good do you feel? How confident do you feel with the way you're cutting, the ability to kind of move in space, just in general with your recovery?
I think I feel good. I think, like I said, the training staff had me on a great plan to where I could get to where I am right now, feeling 100%. And, like feels good getting back to the football movements. Obviously, it's something that obviously I have to work on. But, yeah, I feel close to 100%. I'm getting there, still just going with the plan that they have for me.
Last year, they brought in Rico, they brought in Trevor because you were going to miss the entire season. This year, they didn't draft a running back. They did bring in AJ. But what does that say about their confidence and their comfort in your situation as well as Trevor's, you think?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's just out of me and Trevor. I think it's the confidence as a room in general. I mean, you got Chuba, who's a great back. You got A.J. Dillon, who obviously is a good back. Myself and Trevor, and then Trail and Trey. I feel like we have a good room, and they have confidence in us. That doesn't just speak volume to the confidence they have in me. I think as a room in general, they're confident in what we can do, and that just is a test of how we work in the off season and how we work during the season.
Thank you.
Hi, Jonathan.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
Well, for starters, congratulations on your baptism.
Thank
I saw
you.
that you're welcome. You and Princely made that decision. Can you share with us kind of how you were led to that decision? And also to expound upon that, we saw that Chuba was there. You guys you kind of deepened your relationship physically, like working out as far as, just on a personal standpoint. Can you just kind of share some insight with us on how you came to the decision to get baptized and a little bit about you and Chuba's relationship?
Right. I think ultimately for me, I said it in my testimony after baptism, it's just like my whole life I've known God and I've tried to follow him, but I didn't live accordingly. And, I used to use the excuse of being around the locker room my whole football career, whether it's high school, college, or NFL, like, I'm around people who cuss and do all this. And I kept trying to, I guess, put the blame on others in a sense. And in reality, I just needed to check myself. And I've been through a lot in my life. I lost my father. I've torn my ACL twice. Every single time I've reverted back to my faith. And for me, my baptism was that was a recommitment of my faith to not only change myself, but to, like, from that day forward, stop making excuses for my surroundings, to better myself, to deepen my faith. And then just to have my family there, and Chuba, obviously, don't let him hear this, but he's been a good, I'd call him big brother, because he's older and he's been in the league. He's been a good vet, a good role model, mentor for me. He's really took me under his wing. He's pushed me to be my best every day this off season. We hang out all the time, whether that's in a building, outside of the building, and he's just a really good dude, and he also is really big in his faith. So we push each other as far as that. We push each other in our faith and as we work out this offseason. So that meant a lot that he was there. And also Tommy Trimble was there as well.
Thank you. And congrats again.
Thank you.
We'll go with Cass, followed by Alex Zitlow.
Hey, JB, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Doing good. Curious, like, how you, as you're going through this process of getting back on the field, and I know you said you've been cleared, but how do you simulate football until you can kind of get back on the field and really take a hit?
Right, and that's actually a great question, because it's almost hard, but you have to simulate it as to the best that you can. I mean, that sounds like a broad statement, but like you just have to do a bunch of running back drills, a lot of reactionary stuff. And like I said, the training staff has a great plan for me. I've been working out with Chuba. I've been doing a lot of that stuff. So like I said, I'm getting there. And that's just going to take time, but I'm getting there.
And then I know you told us towards the end of the season that you learned a lot of lessons from the first time about what to do and what not to do in recovery. How are you kind of implementing that now?
I think I'm just being more open-minded to trying new stuff, and I'm being just more consistent with the stuff that I'm doing. I'm in the building longer. I'm doing a lot more treatment. I'm working with Chuba every day. You know, he takes care of his body really well. He has a lot of great inputs about what I should and shouldn't do, and also just the training staff. You know, listen to Denny, listen to Harrison and them, and then the weight room staff. Like changing up my lifts was a big thing, and just like I said, just listening to their plan.
To changing up your lifts?
Yes, just simple changes in my lifts. It's nothing major.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Jonathan. I am going to also ask about Chuba since you've talked so glowingly about y'all and your friendship. He told us after the season that he gave you advice essentially that the time is now. What did that mean to you, and how did that resonate to you, or how did that resonate with you going into this off season?
You know, with our relationship, it meant a lot, and knowing that he still has faith in me, just because we're close enough to where you can have that conversation with your brother, and just going to the off season is still it sticks in my head because I know not only do I want to be good for myself, but I want to be good for the team. And with Chuba being a leader on this team and telling me that, I'm just ready to work alongside him because I know what he can do, and I'm ready to see what we can do together.
And then Jatavian Sanders, another teammate of yours who you're really close with, he battled injury at the end of last year, and he had to kind of rehab to get ready for this upcoming season. What has been your correspondence, advice to him, or just in general encouragement to him?
I mean, he knows what I've been through, and I know what he's been through, and you know he put his head down and worked, and I mean he looks great out there working out. There wasn't much that I needed to tell him because our relationship also was just so close. You know, I checked on him when it happened, and I obviously through the off season we were both here, so it was easy for us to work alongside each other, have small conversations, ask each other how we're feeling and stuff like that. So it wasn't nothing major, but I feel like that's just like how our relationship is. We're like so close, not much needs to be said.
Mike Marte, followed by Steve Reed.
Thanks, Kia. Hey, Jonathan, good to see you again.
Yes, sir.
You know, you talked about you're cleared and, you know, you're trying to work your way into the contact portion of things. When was the last time you felt this good physically?
I'd say my rookie season right before I got hurt. I mean, I came back, I was feeling good, and I felt 100%. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I felt good. I felt 100% my rookie season.
And then kind of dovetailing off of that, how difficult has this process been for you? Because players play, and that's been kind of taken away from you with the injuries. But, you know, you're obviously rooted in your faith and you're staying in your course and your trajectory. But, I mean, how trying was this for you this past couple of years?
You know, it was definitely rough. And like I said, I just rooted back to my faith, my family, because I know God has a plan for me. And you know, I'm very religious, so I often try to refer my story to the book of Job. I'm nothing like him, but he was one of the richest on the earth. He had everything, and Satan actually attacked him. He took his children, all his money, his animals, and everything, and he was still rooted in his faith. And then after that, God gave him everything he had times two. So for me, I just feel like, you know, a lot has been, I'd say, kind of taken, you know, my father, my two ACLs, I'd say just like in my instance, just staying rooted in my faith and knowing that he has a great plan for me. And if I want to go anywhere in life, anywhere in my career, that I'm going to have God in my life front and center.
Last one for me. You do have, you know, a small sample size of touches in the league, you know, when you came back and before you got re-injured. But what do you look at when you look at those touches and those plays? Do you see things that you thought, okay, that was good, but I can be better at this? And, just your own self scout is how you try to get, as you try to elevate your career.
Right, 100%. And to be quite honest, I don't think any rep I had my rookie year was good. There's a lot I want to work on, and that was kind of the frustrating part of it too. For the limited touches that I had, I knew what I had to do better. And the fact that I got hurt again, that's what I feel like at first angered me so much, because I knew I had so much to show and to fix and to kind of, I don't have to prove anyone, just to prove myself, because I know my worth. I know what I can do. I'm not really worried about what others think, and I think that yeah.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Jonathon, Steve Reed from the Associated Press. Hey, in terms of the injuries, what was the darkest day? I mean, can you kind of give us an idea of what was the hardest during those spans of when you hurt the knee twice? What was the hardest thing, and what were the worst days, and how did you come out of that?
I feel like ultimately my hardest days, obviously after the first one, it was just a struggle not knowing whether to come to the league or not. The second one, honestly, it was the first couple of hours, first day. It was rough just because I felt like I let myself down. I let my family down. I felt like I let the team down by, I was ready, but I felt like I let them down by, obviously getting hurt again. But to a sense, it's like, I'm not going to say people need to understand, but that injury was kind of out of my control. Like, it's not like I went out there and said, I'm going to tear my ACL again. It's something that I couldn't control, and that's why I put my faith in Jesus, because he's in control. He had that plan for me, and he's allowed me to sit back and learn so much through the 2 seasons I've been in the league. So I'm mentally better, sharper, and I just feel a lot better.
And last question. Did you say when you got baptized?
I got baptized Sunday.
Thank you.
We have time for a couple more. We'll go with Deshaun Brown, followed by Sheena Quick, and end with Cass.
Hey, Jonathon, thank you for making the time. Steve actually touched on one of my questions, but the other, to kind of circle back to Chuba, I mean, just the nature of the business, every position is sort of set up to be so competitive amongst guys. How did the two of you get to that point where you've established such a brotherhood in addition to how you're pushing each other?
Right. I think that's just two people with the same mindset. I think we're both deeply rooted in our faith. We're both hungry. We're both, I feel like, are humble enough to know that there's enough for both, for multiple people in the room to succeed. And that's what I like about Chuba, because he's not only a leader, but he's somebody who's not selfish. And, a lot of people don't realize, but clearly in this league, it takes 1 to 2 or 3 backs. And, if whatever it is this season, I'm here to back him up. I'm here to be there for him. I'm here to be here for the others in the room as well, just like it's the same as they'll do for me. And like I said, just that goes to show our relationship that we've made on and off the field over the going on 3 years that I've been here. So,
thank you.
It's me again, Jonathon. I know we talked about the mental aspect of coming back from an injury and, your faith and how deeply rooted you are in that. But coming off of back-to-back ACL injuries, how do you plan to quell any type of anxiety that may come up as you start to go into contact and go into, full speed workouts and things of that nature? Right.
And like you said, I touched on faith, but I mean, again, that's just bringing back my faith and having a full trust in God. Just going out there playing clear-minded. I know what I'm doing. So just getting back to the team activities, and that's what this OTAs, this whole OTAs process is going to be for me. Getting back out there in the team period, team setting, really just, I'm not going to say getting comfortable, but getting comfortable out there, still just filling it out. And like I said, just trusting in God, and he's going to allow me to play clear-minded and play like I used to.
Thank you.
Hey, JB, one more from me now, too. You mentioned, looking at the reps you had your rookie season and kind of knowing what you had to do to get better, even with those limited reps. What did you identify the most, and how Like, how do you kind of make a plan moving forward, knowing that you are kind of going off of limited tape?
Right. I'd say one of the major things was just get stronger, in which I put on muscle this off season. Just really being more decisive with everything that I've done on and off the field, knowing mentally and then physically reacting to stuff, and then just going off of what the coaches have told me. We have conversations as well, and that's just like what comes with being a football player. You see what you can do better. You see what you need to work on and stuff like that. So I'm excited for what I can do.
Let's do.
All right, Jonathan, that's all the questions we have for you today, but thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you.